Good morning, I'm Melissa Vega.
And I'm Germán Fuentes.
And this is JMTT News. Expect the news first.
Today's special edition centers on the importance of Language Day.
Our reporters Juan Pablo Villegas and Jose Enrique Ayala have traveled to Spain and England to interview two representative figures of language and literature.
Language Day is important as it commemorates significant aspects of human history, such as literature. William Shakespeare and Miguel de Cervantes are famous for their timeless impact on each of their languages.
In order to get some answers from William Shakespeare himself, our reporter Juan Pablo Villegas is now in England interviewing the English author.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shakespeare. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, first of all, for coming to our interview, and we have today a couple of questions for you. The first one is very simple. In your plays, there's a common strain between the setting you use, let's say in Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet, which is very similar. So we'd like to know if there's something which inspired you to use that setting so often.
Well, in my plays, you could say that I have been very inspired by what is Greek mythology and literature. I love every single Greek myth.
Okay, thank you. So now, Mr. Shakespeare, your characters, which were created like 500 years ago, are still something people read and like. They feel identified with them. So we'd like to know what made you do them so wisely that people nowadays still feel inspired and identify with them.
Well, I do believe my characters are very special. They stand out from other playwrights. There are some characters that I have created that people can identify with more easily. For example, you have Hamlet. Hamlet was very angered by the death of his father and he wanted revenge. I believe most people in the same situation would act the same way as Hamlet did. Other examples can be Romeo and Juliet. They are the best example of what teenage love is. It's crazy and it doesn't have limits.
Okay, thank you. The other question would be, why do you think language is important? Because we're celebrating Language Day, and in part, it's because of you. It's in your honor.
Well, first of all, I believe it's very interesting how you have a language day. I believe that there wasn't one in my day. And it's very important to honor language as our primary way of communication. And it's also our way of expressing our feelings, like I did with my plays, or most authors do with poems. There are many ways to express your feelings, and language is one of the most important.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, but not least important, Miguel de Cervantes is another very important representative of literature, especially Spanish literature, and we celebrate Language Day in your honor and his. So do you know nothing about him, Don Quixote, and do you have an opinion about that play or about Miguel de Cervantes?
Oh, yes, Cervantes, yes. I believe I know he's very famous. Maybe his work is not as recognized as mine. I believe that. I can be wrong.
Okay.
He was a very important author in Spanish literature and in the world in general. But I still believe that my plays had a bigger impact on what literature is today. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now, it's turn for Jose Ayala, our reporter, who is in Spain interviewing Miguel de Cervantes.
Thank you, Melissa Germán. Buenos días a todos. Estamos aquí con el escritor español Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, que se ha ofrecido a respondernos las preguntas.
Buenos días, gracias a José y gracias a todos por permitirme estar aquí con vosotros.
Bueno, señor Cervantes, avanzando a la primera pregunta, ¿por qué escribió el español?
El castellano le ha brindado la posibilidad a millones de hombres de comunicarse, pero específicamente de expresar sus sentimientos bien. No es lo mismo decir un yo te amo a un yo te quiero. Ni el inglés ni el francés le permiten al hombre ejemplificar esa diferencia. Esto le abre un camino enorme a la poesía y al romance.
Totalmente de acuerdo con usted, señor Cervantes, pero ¿por qué tus obras se han mantenido vigentes 500 años después?
El Quijote, mi gran obra, no fue escrita para una época, fue escrita para innovar. Creé palabras e inventé un diccionario nuevo para renovar lo que es mi lengua materna. Aparte, cualquier persona puede sentirse identificada con el Quijote. Todos nos sentimos a veces como caballeros solitarios que pertenecemos a otro tiempo.
Muy bien, señor Cervantes. Ahora quisiera saber, ¿qué piensa usted de las obras del escritor británico William Shakespeare?
Él renovó su lenguaje. Los temas de sus obras se han mantenido vigentes y cada uno de sus dramas representa dilemas existenciales y los sentimientos que expresan son bellos y muy humanos. Sin duda, uno de los mejores autores que han existido.
Toda la razón, señor Cervantes. Claramente ustedes dos han sido unos ejemplares en cualquier trama literaria. Esto ha sido todo por hoy. Gracias a usted Continuamos en estudio.
Thank you to our reporters, Juan Pablo and Jose, for these incredible interviews.
And thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next edition of JMTT News. Expect the news first. Have a good evening.